yet. So if you follow Theater Commandments, if you know me in real life, if you follow me on social media, you will know that video from the last show that I was in that I also directed, which was called Movie Musicals. The videos for that are finally finished. They're up on YouTube. They are only on the MTO channel right now, but they will be coming to my music channel probably today. And by today, I mean Wednesday, which is the day that I'm filming this, but by the time you watch this on Friday, it'll probably be up, or like when you watch it at some point in the future, it'll probably be up. But anyway, last May, after I put up all the videos of Gender Bent, I made another video that was just Gender Bent with director's commentary, where I shared some like fun facts and behind the scenes things and some things that I personally did not see until I was editing the video. And I personally love to watch videos like that. I love like all the Broadway Con backstage vlogs and like in behind the scenes type of stuff. I love all of that. I loved making that video for Gender Bent, so I'm making another one. And without any further ado, let go. So first I need to start off by saying that this is the first MTO show in history where we got everything done during dress rehearsal, and dress rehearsal did not run over too much. The dress rehearsal was scheduled for 7 to 10 p.m. and I think we were completely done and were out by like 10:30, 10:45. For some reason, for the entire time MTO has existed, we have been plagued with problems of never getting everything done in dress rehearsal. Like, it's not even like an administrative thing, it's just like we always have things come up at the last minute. And so quite a few times we're put into the situation where we have to run numbers and fix numbers right before the show. Like, just go on stage and quickly fix everything, fix spots, whatever. But I'm very proud to say that that did not happen in this show. In this whole opening section where we have the soloists in the front and everybody dancing behind, the people dancing behind, they were actually not given specific choreography. I mean, I think that might be obvious because everybody's doing a different thing. But anyway, all of that was improv. Yes, we did rehearse this number. Yes, we practiced a million times just improvising. But what we actually did, and I credit this to Neo, this is not out of my brain, this is out of his, he choreographed the number. What happened is that cast members were assigned a certain animal. So I was a bird, there were other birds, there were elephants, there were monkeys, there were just a whole bunch of animals. And in rehearsals, we actually workshopped, you know, movements that you could do that were like that character and more interpretive rather than just like actually like pantomiming. And we also worked on like continuing to move and not just stopping and starting. And I just looking at the video now, when I was looking at it, editing it, I was just like, wow, like that actually looks absolutely awesome. And I knew it was gonna look awesome when I was in rehearsal, but when you're directing a show, you're like constantly having several panic attacks at once. But when I actually got to see the whole thing and got to see like this whole shot of everybody on stage dancing, I was just like, wow, that looked just so beautiful. And the masks that we had on for this number were actually handmade by Georgia, hand painted. She put on all the feathers and rhinestones and everything. Georgia was our costume designer. That's actually a job she's been kind of unofficially doing for a while, so we just kind of gave her the title. But she handled all the costumes, she made a lot of the props and stuff, and just thank you, Georgia. Thank you so much. It was a huge help and you did an amazing job. But anyway, for these masks, obviously our masks were the design of our mask was based on whatever animal we were assigned. But what actually wound up happening, and the people that have been in MTO shows where I have been one of the directors, they know that I am actually very much a stage mom. I go very hard on safety. Here, when we got the masks, I was like, okay, like we are going to test these in rehearsal, make sure they're good, see if we have to cut them, see if we have to modify them, because Georgia just bought blank masks, and so they had eye holes cut out, but we wanted to make sure that like the masks didn't create like blind spots and that people could actually see through them and that they fit and that it worked and that it was going to be safe, and we didn't have people colliding because they like lost their peripheral vision because of the mask. And because of that, we actually did wind up having to cut the eye holes bigger on a lot of the masks. I know my mask had to be cut bigger because I just couldn't see very much. Also, at the very end of this number, I was actually singing the tenor part. Shang is actually a grad student, he's a jazz piano major, and in his audition he actually accompanied himself, and it worked so well that we were just like, yeah, we're just gonna keep that for the show. And it's the first time we've ever actually had something like that happen where somebody actually accompanied themselves on stage. And because we knew he was a jazz piano major, we were just like, well, like, dude, if you want to do like a jazz arrangement or throw in some funky chords, by all means go for it. And he actually did. There's a few little like, ooh, moments of like, ooh, that's unusual, but that's like really cool. And that really turned, like, for something that we've never done before, that actually turned out really cool.
I know it's true.
When we told Allie that she was gonna be singing Once Upon a Dream, she absolutely bounced off of the wall. She was so excited because Sleeping Beauty is her favorite Disney movie, so we were just like, hey, by the way, you're gonna sing this iconic song from this movie you love, are you down? And it really was just perfect for her. Like, she went all out with the gown, it was perfect for her voice, it was just like one of those things that just worked out so well. This clip is actually not in the final cut of the video of the show. So what happened here is that I walked to the middle mic, and I needed to lower it because Kat had been singing at that mic in the song before me, and Kat is a lot taller than me, so I obviously had to bring the mic stand down. And you guys probably don't know this, but I'm actually notoriously very bad at adjusting mic stands. I don't know what it is, like I can't do it. And especially if I have to do it in like 5 seconds on stage, it never works out, and I don't know why. This is like my one ultimate kryptonite as a performer, just microphone stands. And so I'm trying to adjust it and it is not budging. And in my head, I'm just like, you know, I just survived directing this show and I couldn't give any less of a fuck at the moment if I tried. So I just scooted over to the next mic, did a little sassy stance, and the audience actually clapped. So I was just like, yeah, whatever. And I think this is like my new favorite personal onstage mishap that I handled because I didn't even like try to make this not obvious. Like the mic stand didn't move. It wasn't going to move. I could either stand here and struggle with like my no upper body strength, or I can just scooch over to the next mic. So I was just like, I'm gonna just scooch over to the next mic, laugh this off, and just sing from there. And that is exactly what I did. So needless to say, this is a number that I have dreamed about performing in since I was a little kid. Because some of you might not know this, but I am actually part Puerto Rican. And so I remember when I was probably like 8 or 9 years old, my mom just like sat me down, popped in like a DVD of West Side Story and was like, watch this, it's part of your education. That's not exactly what she said, but that was basically the sentiment. But anyway, I've had this image of like Rita Moreno just slaying in that purple dress, dancing her heart out on a Manhattan rooftop since I was a little kid. And I have been dreaming of doing that someday. So the fact that I got to do it also in a show that I directed is just such an awesome thing for me, and I could not be happier that I got to do that. And also in our last rehearsal for this number during Hell Week, we actually wound up having to rehearse in the atrium because I had reserved rehearsal space for us for that night, but when we walked into the room, we found out that the room was actually double booked with a class, and so I frantically tried to find another room. There was nothing else available in the entire music school, and because it was Hell Week and it was our last dance rehearsal for America before dress rehearsal, I absolutely could not lose this rehearsal. So our only option was to rehearse in the atrium, and actually it kind of worked out really well. We actually didn't sing really at all in that rehearsal because we were in the atrium and there were classes going on, so we knew we were gonna get yelled at if we were being too loud. So we actually kind of, you know, through some kind of convoluted twist of fate, blessing in disguise, we actually really got to focus on the dancing because we were rehearsing in the atrium and we couldn't really sing our way through it. And also, might I add, that night it was probably easily 85 or 90 degrees in the atrium because Copeland has serious temperature control issues. Like every morning that you walk into the building is like playing Russian roulette. Like, is it gonna be Antarctica or the 9th circle of hell today? Also, with the skirts for this number, we actually had one hell of a time costuming this number because there was no way around it. Like, if you're doing America, you need the skirts. They need to be like T-length flowing skirts because the skirts are a prop in the choreography. There's no way around it. So initially what we were gonna try to do was order a whole bunch of skirts, like have everybody given sizes and money and stuff, and have all the skirts be the same type but just different colors. And that didn't work out for just so many reasons. There were skirts that were gonna take forever to ship. There were skirts that were expensive. There were skirts that didn't come in everybody's size. You name it, we had an issue with these goddamn skirts. And we finally settled on everybody getting their own skirts. I need to take a second to talk about Ryan's knees because when I was editing the video, I did not know how turnt this dude's knees were. So the entire time that I was editing Grease Lightning, I was taking Snapchats of my computer screen of like various hilarious frames of Ryan and his knees, and I was sending them to my friend Michelle, who is also coincidentally his girlfriend, and she was dying laughing, and she was just like, yes, Amy, please keep sending these to me because now I have so much ammo. If you look really closely on the license plate of the Grease Lightning car, it actually says MTO 2016. And speaking of the car, the Grease Lightning car was actually nearly destroyed right before the show. The Grease Lightning car was made out of cardboard that we attached to some chairs so like they can climb on it. And Georgia painted the whole thing. Again, she did so much work for like our props and costumes. But because it was just like this huge set piece, like we had nowhere to put it, so we just left it in the hallway near the concert hall after rehearsal one day, and we just kind of thought that like, hey, people are gonna see this, see that it's obviously there for something, and leave it alone. And so the next morning I was walking down the hallway to go to choir rehearsal because like in my school, like the concert hall, the stage door is here and then the big rehearsal rooms are here, so it's all the same hallway. So I'm walking down the hallway and I see one of the cleaning ladies crushing up the car, like folding it and trying to shove it into a garbage can. And I instantly just go like, no, 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 like freaked out. And I was just like, no, this is a set piece, like leave it alone. Oh my God, oh my God. And I was like trying not to freak out on her because she didn't know, but I was just like, oh my God. But we managed to fix it and it was fine. But yeah, the car actually almost got destroyed right before the show. And also I was just not aware of how filthy this song is until I was trying to get sheet music for it right when we were starting up the show. So I was reading through the music, making sure we had the right version, and I'm reading through the lyrics, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, I knew that there was innuendo in the song, but I guess I never listened too hard to the lyrics, but oh my God. When I was deciding the show order and also figuring out which pianist was gonna play which songs, because we had two, because Zach was in the show, obviously who couldn't play the whole show, so we had Zach and David as our pianists. But anyway, so as I was going through and making the show order and deciding who was playing what, I was obviously consulting with Zach on what do you want to play, what don't you want to play, like do you have any kind of preference, also because he was the musical director, like obviously he had to be looped in on this conversation. And he specifically said, I don't want to play any of the Sondheim stuff, and I absolutely want to play Zero to Hero. Also in this number, I forgot or otherwise messed up an impressive amount of choreography. And right at the end here where we did the sass snap, there was a dedicated 15 minutes in rehearsal one day where I gave a mini lecture on how to properly sass. For those of you who don't follow me on Instagram and don't know, my friend Mike and I have a tradition where every show that we're in together, we take a sass picture after. And so at the end, I was like, okay, we're gonna do this like Team Sass style, like we're gonna do this right. And so I kid you not, like I actually took time out of rehearsal to tell them, it's like, all right, you gotta bevel your leg like this and get your arm up like this, like, and it looked great at the end. It looked perfectly sassy. But I love the fact that even though we were constantly running on a beyond tight schedule, I for some reason took 15 minutes out of a rehearsal to teach a sass snap. Planning on telling me about this. I almost woke up my whole damn house at 1 in the morning when I was editing this song because I was cackling so hard. I knew Jay was going to bring the sass and I heavily encouraged it, but I did not know that at one point he was going to grab the mic stand and just overtly use it as a stripper pole. I think I had stepped out when he was running this in dress rehearsal and I didn't see it then, and I obviously didn't see it during the performance, so like that's probably how I missed it, but oh my God. When Jay auditioned with this song, he had us just dying laughing because he didn't hold back at all. And he actually came in with this black glittery boa that he was using as a prop. And at one point during his audition, he actually walked over to me and I was like sitting there like typing some notes on my laptop, and he throws the boa, whips it around my neck, and like sang straight into my soul. And during his audition, the boa was shedding the whole time, so it left these black feathers all over the floor. And the room that we were doing auditions in was also coincidentally the same room that I had music theory class in. So the next day I go into music theory class and the professor is just like looking at the ground, is like, why are there feathers everywhere? And I kept my mouth shut because I knew exactly how they got there. At the end of this song, we had 4 baskets directly off stage that had in them these like little peace sign necklaces and these handmade craft flowers. And so 4 people, myself included, were designated to just kind of scoot off the stage, grab them, like chill, like whoa, we're hippies, but give them to the other cast members on stage. And then they would go off the stage, give them to people in the audience, jam out with the audience. Because in the actual stage production of Hair, in the end, in the finale during Let the Sunshine In, they have a giant dance party. And I was like, well, we're gonna totally do that because that is awesome. And so most of the cast would go off stage and go up into the balcony, go into the audience and give out the flowers and give out the necklaces. And the people who stayed on stage had like whatever was left that people didn't grab in the basket, and we were just throwing them into the audience. And every time I threw one, the person that it went to like flinched like, oh my god, it's Godzilla! No, it's just a tiny necklace that we bought at the Broadway flea market. And lastly, the arrangement of Aquarius Let the Sunshine In that we performed in this show is actually done by one of my former music teachers, one of my music teachers from high school. And I actually had performed this arrangement in a show before while I was still in high school. And on top of that, my friend Christina, who you can see right here, she was actually in that show while we were both still in high school like 4 or 5 years ago now. That's about it. Comment, like, and subscribe. Go check out the video of the show. It will be linked down below. Thank you so much to everybody who made movie musicals happen. I certainly could not have done that alone, and I will see y'all next Friday.